Thank you. My daughter is pregnant, and one of the questions now answered even before birth is the baby a boy or a girl? My daughter was told she is having a girl. The wife of one of the people she has cared for in her job has already made 3 little pink sweaters. Way back when one of my cousins had a baby identified as a boy, they brought him home from the hospital in a football jersey for their team. Socially and culturally, we attach meanings to those designations: boy, girl. But what about those among us who are not clearly either? In 2011, ABC News began an article this way: Jim Bruce was born with XY male chromosomes but ambiguous genitals. Doctors couldn't be sure if he had a large clitoris or a small penis, and they were convinced he could never live a satisfactory life as a man. So shortly after his birth in 1976, Bruce's external organ and testes were surgically removed, and he was raised as a girl. He struggled for years, preferring rough and tumble play and being attracted to girls. I was unhappy, but it was really difficult to ask questions, said Bruce, now a 34-year-old writer in California. When he was 12, Bruce was given female hormones so his body would feminize. And then at 18, he prepared for a vaginoplasty, I have trouble saying that, designed to allow me to have sex with my husband, he said. But he knew something was wrong. And battling depression, he sought his medical records when he was 19. In other words, he didn't know any of this backstory. He says, I knew I wasn't a girl. What Bruce discovered was horrifying. I was sterilized at birth and no one ever told me. An estimated 1 in 2,000 children born each year are neither boy nor girl. They're intersex. Bruce ultimately identified as male, but today some people who identify as intersex choose not to choose. That has not always been an option. I titled this sermon, Meeting Someone Who is Intersex. My story of that meeting is not so different from Bruce's story. As I transferred from United Methodist to Unitarian Universalist ministry in the mid-90s, I needed to belong to a UU congregation as a member for a year. In order to do that, I did a residency year of clinical pastoral education at a general hospital. The students in the course chose areas of the hospital in which to concentrate our experience. My areas of concentration were the orthopedic/neurological floor, a lot of hip replacements and strokes, and the psychiatric unit, which in a general hospital was mainly patients dealing with depression. There was a person on the psychiatric unit who I saw as a young woman. That was the way she was registered. But she told me that part of her depression was having learned that she was born intersex. She was about my own age, born somewhere in the late 50s or early 60s. Her parents and the doctor did what was done back then. The doctor performed surgery choosing the easier route. Let's make this baby a girl. But the person I encountered in the hospital in their young adulthood was now asking, am I a woman? Society was only offering them two answers, male or female. But were either of those really right? This person was struggling. They were depressed and potentially suicidal. The Intersex Society of North America was founded in 1993, but I sure didn't know about it to offer this person that resource. There's more out there today than when I met this person in the early 90s. The Cleveland Clinic has an informative web page on intersex. It says in part, what does it mean to be intersex? For those of you who were in the discussion, I'm going to repeat information you probably just heard, but people who are intersex have reproductive or sexual anatomy that doesn't fit into an exclusively male or female binary sex classification. Intersex traits might be apparent when a person's born, but they might not appear until later, during puberty or even adulthood. You may never notice their intersex traits externally, and you might only find out about them after a surgery or imaging test. In the past, being intersex was known as having a disorder of sex development, and you might see it referred to this way in some places. But being intersex isn't a disorder, a disease, or a condition. Being intersex doesn't mean you need any special treatment or care. But some people who are intersex choose gender affirmation options if their gender doesn't match the one they were assigned at birth. The clinic says that an estimated 1 in 100 Americans is intersex. That's a lot of people. Around 2% of people worldwide have intersex traits. They also say that being intersex can present in about 40 different ways. The most common intersex traits include combination of chromosomes. Everyone inherits sex-linked chromosomes from their parents. People who are male have XY chromosomes. People who are female have XX chromosomes. People who are intersex may have a mix of chromosomes, such as XXY, or they may have some cells that are XY and other cells that are XX. Or they may have just one X chromosome, XO, and other combinations can appear too. A person who is intersex may have ovarian and testicular tissues, ovotestes. For example, you may have genitals that are associated with being assigned male at birth, like a penis, and at the same time you have internal reproductive anatomy or hormone levels more closely associated with being assigned female at birth, like estrogen. People who are intersex have a range of gender identities just like everyone else. Some people who are intersex consider their gender to be intersex. Others identify as female, male, non-binary, or a different gender. Interestingly, you heard this sermon a week or so ago when you had your short service before the annual meeting, and they always do a shared reflection. Interestingly, 2 of them knew people that they knew were intersex. One was a nurse who actually cared for an intersex person back in her home in Jamaica, and another person was someone who knew somebody who had found out in his adulthood that his chromosomes were XXY. Cleveland Clinic asked, asked on their webpage, does being intersex affect fertility? If you're a person who is intersex, your ability to conceive a child depends on your reproductive anatomy. Many people who are intersex can have families through assisted reproductive technology. This may involve in vitro fertilization, using donated eggs, sperm, or embryos, or having a gestational carrier, a surrogate. The page on the Cleveland Clinic ends with a note from Cleveland Clinic. Being intersex might cause you to have lots of questions, especially after learning about it for the first time. People who are intersex may be self-conscious about their appearance or struggle to fit in with peers. It can be helpful to connect with others who understand these challenges. Talk to your healthcare provider about support groups and other resources that can help you feel seen and heard. I was a student chaplain in the mid-90s without this information. I might have better served the patient on my unit if I had known, which is why we are having this service today. You may not have the title chaplain. You may be friend, uncle, aunt, grandparent, cousin. But if you have this information, you may be better able to understand someone in your life and offer them your care. Now, being intersex is not the same as transgender. Cleveland Clinic puts it like this: a person who is transgender identifies with a gender that's different than the sex they were assigned at birth. A person who is intersex may be transgender if their gender doesn't match the sex they were assigned at birth or raised as, but not necessarily. None of us is ever going to understand everything about gender. But that does not mean we shouldn't try. If you make a mistake or say something that offends, apologize, be open to further learning, and work on keeping your connections. The Wikipedia article on intersex says that globally, some intersex infants and children, such as those with ambiguous outer genitalia, are surgically or hormonally altered to create more socially acceptable sex characteristics. This is considered controversial, with no firm evidence of favorable outcomes. Such treatments may involve sterilization. Adults, including elite female athletes, have also been subjects of such treatment. Increasingly, these issues are considered human rights abuses, with statements from international and national human rights and ethics institutions. Intersex organizations have also issued statements about human rights violations, including the 2013 Malta Declaration of the Third International Intersex Forum. In 2011, Christiane Bowling became the first intersex person known to have successfully sued for damages in a case brought for non-consensual surgical intervention. In April of 2015, Malta became the first country to outlaw non-consensual medical interventions to modify sex anatomy, including that of intersex people. As individuals and as a society, we need to learn and to advocate. Being aware of people who are intersex and what their needs are is a part of our responsibility as a welcoming congregation. May we continually learn how to be more welcoming. Monica Jacobson Tennyson puts it like this: welcome. What you bring, who you are, enriches us all. We say welcome to your joy, your hope, your pride. We say welcome to your grief, your fear, your anger, and the parts of you that are not yet ready to be seen and heard. Welcome to them as well. For we are people of faith. Faith in our expansive welcome, faith in our ability to grow, faith in the precious gift of our truths, faith in the promise of trying, learning, changing, faith in our capacity to know ourselves and each other ever more deeply. Welcome to you who are gay, straight, bi, pan, lesbian, queer, questioning, unable to be contained in any word. Welcome to you who are trans, cis, genderqueer, non-binary, intersex, agender, beyond words. Welcome to you who are human. Welcome to you who love and are loved. Welcome to you who are blessed, which is all of you. Our closing hymn is 346. Come sing a song with me. I invite you to stand as you're comfortable. Please remain standing for our closing words, our chalice extinguishing, and the singing of Weave. As we sing Weave, you're welcome to join hands, or if you're uncomfortable doing so, to send energy to the person near you. As you move into the social hall for our volunteer recognition luncheon, please stop in the lobby to make sure your information in that directory is correct. Our closing words are from American journalist and social political activist Gloria Steinem, who said, "A